Hi friends, we are starting a face-to-face offline batch in Bangalore with SS Academy. That is for CA Final Financial Reporting paper number 1. Yeah, we'll be taking exactly 2 months from 1st November to 31st December. We'll complete it. It is starting from 1st November 2022. Yes, and in Jayanagara branch of SS Academy, we have morning batch and evening batch will be at Seshadripuram SS Academy. Right, and if the student is missing because of any reasons, right, they are going to get a backup class. All right, we'll ensure that their things, I mean, they will study and complete. And from the face to face batch, you know the benefits out of it. We'll be completing the syllabus in time. You don't need to postpone and you don't need to compromise for your goals. See you in the class. Please share this information with your friends. That will help me and as well. Thank you. Next, for my books, that is an Ind AS Made Easy, our financial reporting made easy, and fast track summary book. Yes, you can order in ravikanthmiriyala.com, or you can contact the given number for the books. Right, for your doubts, clarification, please join the Telegram group, India's discussion group, RKM. These charts are from quick revision chart book, fast track chart book of mine, which is available in my website. There is ravikanthmiriyala.com, and it is available in the market as well. Let us look at India's 41 agriculture. Yeah, this has three topics basically. One is biological assets, next agriculture produce, and that is at the point of harvesting, and next government grants on biological assets. Remember, government grants of biological assets, right? And this standard is not applicable for land is purely dealt by Ind AS 16. It is not a biological asset, it is not an egg produce, which is not, I mean, nothing related to land. You have to refer Ind AS 16, and which is a bearer plant is dealt by specifically Ind AS 16, which we have read it already, correct? That has to be dealt by Ind AS 16. Right, government grant related to agriculture activity. See, this is agriculture activity, this is not a biological asset. This is an activity done by the management with respect to biological transformation, which we'll discuss very soon. And any intangible assets which you used for the agriculture activity, you have to refer Ind AS 38. And if there is any ROUA, then you are supposed to refer to Ind AS 116. Right. If you say sheep is a biological asset because it is a living biological asset, which is a living animal or living plant. Yes, sheep is a biological asset dealt by Ind AS 41. The wool is an agriculture produce, Ind AS 41 at the point of harvesting. Once you take out the wool, it's going to be inventory, right? Then you are supposed to refer Ind AS 2, and even the yarn or carpet, that's also going to be Ind AS 2. Like same example, tea bush is going to be a bearer plant. It is a biological asset, but since it is a bearer plant, because the life of the tea bush is obviously 25 to 30 or 40 years approximately, right? So it's going to be dealt by Ind AS 16 as a self-constructed asset. And the leaves, what you have taken, the tea leaves are going to be agriculture produce till the time of harvesting. It is dealt by Ind AS 41. Once you pluck the tea leaves, then obviously it's going to be Ind AS 2 inventory. The tea powder, it is obviously after plucking the produce, after doing a lot of production activity, the tea powder is going to be the outcome, right? And there are few definitions which you need to remember. Agriculture activity is a management of biological transformation. It is a management. The biological transformation takes place naturally, correct? Now one bird will grow or animal will grow and the tree will give fruits. That is natural process. What management can do, what you can do is a management. You may provide the full good amount of food, light, and what is that, pesticides or something like that, so that you are just allowing it to grow, right? Biological transformation means you are doing it is a process to get a qualitative change or quantitative change. If this qualitative or quantitative change can happen with respect to growth, with respect to degeneration or procreation, or to get a good quality of agriculture produce. Yeah, when can you recognize the biological asset? It is normal, natural asset definition, asset conditions. One is that you should have the control over the agriculture, the biological asset of the agriculture produce, and probable future economic benefits inflow. The cost or value can be measured reliably. Why are we talking with respect to fair value? Because the biological asset and agriculture produce, focus, biological asset and agriculture produce, both I'm referring to biological asset and agriculture produce initially and subsequently it will be measured at initially and subsequently will be measured at fair market value minus selling cost. Fair market value minus selling cost. If I sell it, what would be my brokerage or any other selling cost, that you have to determine, even though you don't pay it right now, because you are a buyer, you don't pay, the seller will pay. But if you sell it, what is how much selling cost you are going to pay, that is supposed to be reduced now, and then only biological asset account debit that amount. Okay, so remember, initially and subsequently both are supposed to be measured at fair market value minus selling cost. Remember, there is an exception. This exception is applicable only for the biological asset but not for agriculture produce. This exception is applicable for only biological asset but not for agriculture produce. Means agriculture produce has to be measured initially and subsequently. Subsequently, obviously on the balance sheet date, only at fair market value minus selling cost, no other way. But for biological asset, that is the trees or plantation or whatever it is, animals, correct na? Right? These assets you can, if you say that it is not possible to measure the fair market value, maybe because you don't have the comparable animals, or there is no such market. If you prove that there is no such fair market value can be determined, then yes, you can measure it at its cost. But remember, today you are not able to measure it, right? That's why you are following cost model with respect to those biological assets. But subsequently, if not today, suppose after 2 years, if there is a way to measure the fair market value of such biological asset, from that day onwards you have to follow fair market value. So this exception is applicable till you get a way to find out the fair market value. But once there is a fair market value, then you have to follow. It is not like lifetime exemption. Okay, right? It is not lifetime exemption. And the last topic with respect to this standard is government grants. Government grants for biological asset. Remember, government grant for biological asset. This is not for the agriculture activity. This is not for agriculture produce. Remember, right here, before we get in, that just now I told you biological asset can be measured at fair market value minus selling cost, or if you can't measure it, then you can measure it at cost. If the biological asset is measured at cost, then you are supposed to refer Ind AS 20. Ind AS 20, two conditions are there. There is reasonable assurance that conditions can be satisfied, and there is no uncertainty with respect to receipt. Right? When it is now normally, no sir, we are measuring at fair market value minus selling cost. Under that circumstance, right, first question is that grant is conditional. That means, are you supposed to satisfy some conditions to get the grant? If you say yes, then record it as an income in the profit and loss only when you satisfy all the conditions. If you say no, it is unconditional, I don't need to satisfy any conditions, then you transfer to profit and loss immediately. And if the government grant says very clearly that you will get the government grant on time proportion, then yes, you recognize 5 years. If you satisfy first year, then 20% of government grant is yours. Second year, 40% is yours, like 20% for 5 years. Then you are done with 3 years so far. That means 20 every year 20% you can recognize it in the profit and loss, because it is on time proportion. I hope this video is useful to you. If you feel it is useful and let it be helpful to other friends of yours, right, please share it and help them. Thank you very much and wish you the very best.